if you want to bring your cutting edge $1,000 iPhone to its absolute knees, just hit the screen record button, seriously.
Oh, absolutely. It seems like a harmless little feature, but it pushes everything. The processor, the storage, the thermal limits, it takes it all right to the absolute edge.
Right, and relying on the automatic settings is, well, it's fine if you're just grabbing a 5-second clip of a meme, but when you try to record a heavy gaming session or a really detailed work tutorial, you suddenly hit these invisible walls.
Yeah, you get stuttering frames, completely silent audio, or those corrupted files that just vanish into thin air.
Exactly. So welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to essentially hand you the manual transmission for your iPhone screen recorder.
I love that analogy. We're moving from automatic to manual.
Right, because we want to transform it from this basic, foolproof communication tool into a professional-grade capture setup. And to do that, we've pulled together a really massive stack of source material today.
Yeah, we're looking at official Apple support documents, some comprehensive tech guides from capture software companies like AnyRec and Kingshipper, plus some extreme gaming optimization tutorials.
Specifically for Call of Duty Mobile, right?
Exactly. And we've also got creator workflows from video editing experts and TubeBuddy.
Synthesizing all these perspectives, it really reveals a massive gap between simply pushing the record button and actually optimizing the pipeline.
Definitely. So we're going to break down how to unlock those hidden audio settings, how to bypass the bottlenecks throttling your visual quality, and how to polish the final file. But let's unpack the initial setup first.
Yeah, because even getting the keys in the ignition involves a bit of a treasure hunt, right? If you've never used the feature before, it's surprisingly tucked away.
It really is. You actually have to go into your settings app, navigate over to the control center, and manually add the screen recording shortcut.
So it actually shows up when you swipe down. It's like Apple treats it as an optional utility.
Yeah, rather than a core function. But once you add it, tapping that little nested circle icon gives you a 3-second countdown.
Which is nice. You get a moment to swipe the menu away and prep your screen, and then just tap the red status bar at the top to stop it. I mean, the visual capture part is incredibly straightforward.
The visual part, sure, but the audio part is where millions of users just hit a brick wall.
Oh my gosh, yes. Let's say you want to record a bug to send to IT. You hit record, talk through the steps out loud, play the video back, and it is dead silent.
Totally silent.
Right. And you dig around and eventually figure out the microphone is actually turned off by default.
Yeah, to turn it on, you have to do this hidden long press on the record button in the control center to reveal a completely separate menu.
With a microphone toggle, like, why is this buried? Why wouldn't Apple just make the mic active the moment you hit record?
Well, the underlying rationale comes down to a really strict philosophy on privacy and user intent. Think about the most common use case for this tool.
Grabbing a quick screenshot, basically.
Exactly. Most people just want a silent, GIF-like visual receipt of an Instagram post or a text thread to send to a friend. If the mic was hot by default, you'd be inadvertently recording ambient room noise.
Oh, like private background conversations happening in your kitchen.
Right, or even just, yourself breathing heavily while scrolling.
Yeah.
So you have to intentionally cross a barrier, that long press, to prove you want to record your environment.
Okay, I mean, the privacy angle makes complete sense, but let's say you cross that barrier, you intentionally opt in, you hold the button down, tap the mic icon so it glows red,
Yeah.
and you record a whole 20-minute tutorial for a coworker, and you play it back, and it is still totally silent. You did everything right. What is happening there?
This is where we have to look at the operating system's internal hierarchy. There are major audio hijackers built into iOS that completely override your screen recorder.
Hijackers. Like what?
The first place to look is your Do Not Disturb and Silent modes.
Wait, you mean the literal switch on the side of the phone or the little crescent moon focus mode?
Actually, both. Those modes are designed at the system level to suppress interruptions, right? But depending on how a specific app is coded, iOS might inadvertently mute the internal app audio during a capture.
So the system is trying to keep the phone quiet, and it accidentally silences your recording. That is so frustrating.
It really is. You have to make sure Do Not Disturb is off and your ringer is active.
Okay, so the phone is just being a little too aggressive with its own rules. But what if the audio is being routed somewhere else entirely? Because the sources mention Bluetooth as a massive culprit here.
Oh, Bluetooth routing is a notoriously frustrating hijacker. Imagine you have a pair of wireless earbuds just, sitting on your desk.
Oh, I've actually done this.
Right. They might be powered on and technically connected to your phone, even if they aren't in your ears. When you start recording, the operating system registers the headset.
And it automatically pulls the audio input from the earbuds instead of the phone's internal mic. So you're talking into your phone, but it's listening to a backpack across the room.
Exactly. But the fix is super simple. Just dive into your Bluetooth settings and temporarily disconnect any audio devices before you hit record.
Okay, easy enough. But there is a third reason your recording might be silent, or even worse, completely black, right?
Yeah, and this one isn't a glitch. It is a deliberate, legally mandated roadblock.
We're talking about digital rights management, DRM.
Right. Whenever you open an app like Netflix, Hulu, or even certain premium YouTube videos and try to screen record, you'll either get a video file with zero audio or just a completely black rectangle.
Because the app's developers have integrated DRM protections.
Exactly. It sends a flag to the iOS operating system, essentially instructing it to shut down capture capabilities immediately.
It's basically the digital equivalent of trying to photocopy a watermarked dollar bill. The copy machine actually recognizes the visual pattern and just shuts down. It refuses to print.
Yeah, this system is intentionally designed to blind itself if it senses copyrighted material. The OS is strictly complying with copyright law.
Is there any way around that?
Well, the tech guides we reviewed do note that some creators use third-party desktop mirroring software to bypass this.
Like AnyRec.
Yeah. Applications like AnyRec allow you to mirror your phone's display to a desktop computer, and then you use desktop software to record the computer screen.
But that is a really complex workaround and strictly intended for personal, non-commercial use, right? Like saving a clip for a private presentation.
Definitely. And if you've checked your focus modes, disconnected your Bluetooth, and you aren't trying to pirate Netflix, there's one final checklist item.
The core privacy settings.
Exactly. You have to go into your core settings, down to privacy and security, tap microphone, and ensure the specific app you're using actually has the toggle flipped on to allow sound capture.
Running through that diagnostic checklist solves almost every missing audio mystery. But, solving the audio is great, but it immediately exposes another massive limitation.
How the phone handles the visual data.
Right. Let's say I want this video to look pristine. I'm in the settings menu, looking for the slider to force the iPhone to record in glorious 4K resolution at the highest possible quality. But I can't find it.
You can't find it because there are literally no built-in resolution settings for the screen recorder.
Wait, really? None at all?
None. Unlike the regular camera app where you can dictate 1080p or 4K, the screen recorder operates entirely at the mercy of your specific hardware.
So it just captures whatever the screen natively displays?
Yeah, it captures the native screen resolution at 60 frames per second. So if you're holding a brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's going to capture an incredibly dense, crisp 3840 by 2060 pixels.
And if you're using an older iPhone 11, it captures at a lower physical limit. But capturing a native high-res screen and taking 60 individual pictures of it every single second, that math gets terrifying very quickly.
It is the unforgiving math of high bitrate video. Just 1 minute of screen recording at 60 frames per second takes up roughly 100 to 200 megabytes of storage space.
200 megabytes a minute. You are filling up a gigabyte every 5 minutes.
Which leads to a critical performance bottleneck that most people never see coming. If your iPhone drops below roughly 5 gigabytes of free storage space, your screen recording is in severe danger.
What actually happens? Does the video just get blurry because the phone is trying to save space?
The reality is much more chaotic. The recording might abruptly terminate without saving, or the file will just become entirely corrupted.
Oh, wow, just totally gone.
Yeah. When iOS records a screen, it doesn't just neatly write a finished file directly to your hard drive. It requires a massive amount of temporary workspace.
It's like an internal buffer.
Right. It has to render the video frames, run them through a codec.
Let's pause there, actually. A codec. We hear that term all the time. What is it actually doing?
A codec is essentially a translator and compressor. Your phone is using something called H.264 HEVC. It looks at the raw, massive visual data and mathematically squishes it down on the fly so it can actually fit on your storage drive.
While simultaneously syncing your audio perfectly to those visual frames.
Exactly. It's doing that complex math constantly. If the solid-state storage is almost full, the operating system hits a wall. It has no room to perform this juggling act.
So it panics. So if I don't have a slider to manually lower the quality, my only option for maintaining a crystal clear recording is literally hoarding empty storage space.
Basically, yes. You have to fiercely protect your free space. The OS is programmed to aggressively prioritize its own core stability over your screen recording.
So if it feels squeezed, it will just violently throttle the bitrate or dump the file entirely to save the phone from freezing. That is wild. I can't just delete half my apps every time I need to record a tutorial, right? What's the permanent fix?
The official Apple support docs recommend utilizing iCloud to keep your local buffer clear.
Going to Settings, your Apple ID, iCloud, Photos, and selecting Optimize iPhone storage, right?
Yes, that automatically offloads your massive full-resolution camera photos and videos to the cloud, leaving only tiny space-saving thumbnails on your actual device.
So suddenly you have 20 or 30 gigabytes of free space.
Exactly, and the screen recorder has plenty of room to breathe.
Storage is a massive invisible throttle for sure. But clearing out your hard drive isn't the final boss here, because even with infinite storage, if you're playing a heavy game like Call of Duty Mobile and trying to record a highlight, you run into the ultimate enemy of high bitrate video.
Hardware heat. Thermal throttling is the absolute bane of mobile gamers and creators.
Walk us through the physics of this. How does my phone physically getting warm ruin the digital video file?
Well, it comes down to silicon and energy. When you run a demanding 3D game and a screen recorder simultaneously, the processors generate intense heat.
And a phone doesn't have a spinning fan inside like a laptop to blow that hot air out.
Right. If the processors get too hot, they risk melting the silicon or permanently damaging the lithium-ion battery. To prevent a catastrophic failure, the OS intentionally limits the power going to the CPU and the GPU.
It just pulls the emergency brake?
Exactly. And when the graphics processing unit, the GPU, is forced to slow down, it simply cannot render 60 frames every second anymore.
Wow. So your pristine recording instantly drops to a stuttering 30 frames per second, or even lower. Fast motion becomes incredibly blurry.
Yeah, the visual fidelity degrades, and the footage looks like it was shot a decade ago.
We looked at some specific optimization tutorials for Call of Duty Mobile, and the solution they offer is fascinating and totally counterintuitive.
It really is. To get a better-looking screen recording, gamers are told to actually lower their in-game graphics.
Lower them. You literally have to make the game look worse so that the recording of the game looks flawless. That's a bizarre balancing act.
It's the secret to professional mobile capture. Think of your GPU's processing power as a pie.
Okay, tracking with you.
If the game is demanding 95% of the pie to draw hyper-realistic shadows, reflections, and high-resolution textures, there is only 5% left over for the screen recorder's codec to compress and save the video.
Ah, so by lowering the game graphics, you free up 30 or 40% of the pie. You leave processing overhead for the recording software to do its job without breaking a sweat.
Exactly. And the gaming guides also highlight some incredibly practical physical fixes to keep the heat down. First, reduce your screen brightness.
Because a screen pushed to max brightness acts like a literal heating element.
Yes. Second, never play a heavy game while the phone is plugged in and charging. Charging forces electrical current into the battery, generating significant ambient heat.
Combine that with a demanding processor load, and that's a guaranteed recipe for immediate thermal throttling. So you need to charge the phone beforehand, unplug it entirely, and then start your recording.
Then take the phone case off.
Yeah.
Thick, heavy-duty cases trap heat against the glass and metal chassis of the phone.
Right, preventing the passive cooling from working. You have to treat the phone like a high-performance engine. It needs airflow to survive.
Definitely. We also need to address network stability, because if the game lags, the footage is useless regardless of your frame rate. The Creator Guides highly recommend switching your router to a 5 GHz Wi-Fi band.
Why does the Wi-Fi band matter for a local screen recording?
Because the standard 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band is a congested nightmare. Your microwave, your neighbor's router, smart home devices, and crucially, your own Bluetooth devices all operate on that exact same frequency.
Oh, so if you leave Bluetooth on in a crowded room, it clashes with the Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah, causing something called packet loss.
Packet loss. What does that actually mean for the everyday user?
Imagine sending 100 letters through the mail, and 10 of them just vanish in transit because the postal system is overwhelmed. In digital terms, pieces of data just drop out.
So the game server misses your movement, the game freezes for half a second to catch up, and that ugly stutter is permanently burned into your screen recording.
Exactly. Using a 5 GHz Wi-Fi band gives you a massive empty highway for your data to prevent that.
Okay, so we are in the home stretch here. You've optimized your storage, the phone is ice cold, you have pristine audio without DRM blackouts, you've captured the absolute perfect raw video.
Now you just have to edit it and upload it without the internet crushing your hard work.
Right. Let's talk about polishing and publishing. The creator guides highlight two main philosophies of mobile editing right now: LumaFusion and CapCut.
These represent two completely different approaches to what a creator values.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at LumaFusion first, a paid application, and it brings true desktop-level precision to a mobile device.
The sources describe it as the tool for mobile journalists. It offers multi-track editing, advanced color correction, and keyframing. Explain keyframing for us, because that sounds a bit intimidating.
Keyframing is simply the ability to animate a specific change over time.
Okay.
Let's say you want to slowly zoom in on a specific button in your tutorial over the course of 5 seconds. You set a keyframe at the start and a keyframe at the end with the new zoom level.
And the software smoothly calculates the motion in between.
Exactly. LumaFusion gives you that granular frame-by-frame control. And crucially, it runs entirely offline.
Which is huge. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum is CapCut, developed by ByteDance, the company behind TikTok.
Right. CapCut is free, but it requires a constant internet connection for many of its features because it leans incredibly heavily on cloud-based artificial intelligence.
Offering things like one-tap auto captions, automatic background removal, and highly trendy visual templates.
Exactly.
Now, if I'm listening to this, I might assume I should always use LumaFusion. I mean, if I went through all the trouble to get a perfect 4K 60 frames per second raw file, shouldn't I use the professional tool to maintain the highest quality?
Well, it forces you to redefine what quality actually means based on your destination. If you're cutting a cinematic travel vlog where visual fidelity, perfect color grading, and precision cuts are the goal, then LumaFusion is the objective choice.
But what if you're making a vertical video tutorial for TikTok or Instagram Reels?
Then quality is often defined by audience retention. CapCut's algorithm-friendly templates, instantly synced audio trends, and dynamic auto captions might be the higher quality choice for that specific medium.
Because it captures attention faster, so the algorithm doesn't care about your color grading, it cares if people keep watching.
Exactly. It's about choosing the right tool for the psychological environment of the platform, even if you lose a tiny bit of pixel sharpness.
That makes a ton of sense. But no matter which editor you choose, there is one final, heartbreaking trap waiting for you at the finish line. You export your masterpiece, open the YouTube mobile app to upload it.
And YouTube compresses it into a blurry mess.
Yes. Why does it do that?
This is the TubeBuddy upload secret we uncovered in the sources. By default, to save your cellular data, the YouTube mobile app aggressively compresses your video during the upload process, regardless of how pristine your original file is.
It is tragic to lose all that quality at the final step, but the fix is actually built right into the app.
Yeah, you just open YouTube, tap your profile picture, navigate to settings, and find uploads.
And there is a specific setting called upload quality. You just manually switch it from the default data saving mode to full quality.
And remember, even after you force the full quality upload, patience is required. A 4K video will still look blurry immediately after you post it.
Because YouTube processes the low-resolution version first, so the video can go live instantly, right?
Right, and it takes their servers a few hours to process and publish the full 4K version in the background.
So let's summarize the journey we've been on. To truly master the iPhone screen recorder, you have to dig into the control center and manually activate your hidden microphone.
You have to troubleshoot audio hijackers like Bluetooth and silent mode, and understand that DRM will intentionally black out your screen to protect copyright.
You must fiercely protect your free storage space using iCloud to ensure the operating system doesn't panic and throttle your video bitrate.
You have to manage the physical heat of the device by lowering game graphics to free up processor overhead, unplugging the charger, and taking off your case.
And finally, bypass the default compression in your app settings so your hard work translates to the final viewer. It is a lot of manual shifting, but the results are undeniable.
Absolutely. Apply these specific tweaks the next time you need to record a weird system bug for tech support, capture a detailed tutorial for a coworker, or save a flawless gaming highlight. You will instantly see and hear the difference.
And looking ahead, understanding this technology raises a pretty fascinating question. As our mobile devices become infinitely more powerful and storage completely ceases to be a bottleneck, will native, always-on-screen recording become the primary way artificial intelligence learns our habits?
It's a wild thought. Think about the trajectory.
Yeah.
What happens to our digital privacy when recording your screen evolves from a manual tool you occasionally use to create a video into a constant, invisible background process?
Silently feeding a personal AI assistant every swipe, tap, and search you make. The screen recorder is moving from a tool we actively control to a system that passively watches us.
It really seems to be heading that way.
But for now, at least, you still hold the keys. You know how the engine works, how to manage the thermal limits, and how to keep it out of automatic. Put these concepts into practice and take ultimate control of your capture. Until next time, keep digging deeper.